up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Wednesday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great week. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up? How you guys doing? It's Wednesday, midweek. Everybody's getting tired. Positive mindset. Keep a positive attitude. Keep trucking along. And when you deserve the rest, and when you earn it, you'll get it. And you'll feel good about working hard. That is the positive motivation for today. So we're going to go back to Lindsay. Now, I'm going to talk about a time that the ISIT team came into Lindsay. Now, this was when I was on 5Pod, just before I went to OCI. I had really just started doing adult time, not a ton of adult time, and I had never experienced the adult ISIT team. And I remember me and my cellie, who is that guy Skinny I had told you guys about, the guy who gave me the shank, or the plastic to make the shank that basically saved me from getting jumped a bunch of times. But we were just in the cell, chopping it up, chilling, and no sense of anything wrong going on. No violence on the range, nobody getting poked up, stabbed up, anything like that. All of a sudden, you start hearing commotion. We start hearing feds outside, in Lindsay, the way it's set up, it's like an octagon pie shape, like a octagon shape, and each side of the octagon is a range, except for one side is the yard, and one side is where the staff sit and watch, other than the bubble, which is right in the middle, which observes everything. But I remember the commotion, seeing a bunch of feds, they're all like coming together, and that usually is indication that something is going to happen, like a search. And normally, if you're in provincial or if you're in federal and a search is coming, it sucks. Specifically in federal, it's a much longer process. You're going to be locked in your cell for a long time. In provincial, they typically handle one block at a time, and once they search the block, they'll let you out and you'll have to put everything together because they'll tear everything down. I've seen searches so bad, they literally destroy people's pictures, letters. If you have any kind of problem with the feds, when they search, a lot of the time, that's when they're going to take it out on you. Shoe prints, on your sheets. I even saw my one homie who was a problem. Like, he created a lot of nuisance, fighting all the time, telling staff off all the time. And one time when we were getting searched, they dumped a box of cereal and a bag of milk, because you could buy those little mini cereals at the time. And you got the little 250 milliliter bags of milk with your breakfast. And the Fed disrespectfully put the cereal on the bed and then the milk on top of it and just kind of mushed it in, footprints, all kinds of stuff. Just a blatant disrespect. But this felt a little different because it felt like there was a huge accumulation of staff. And all of a sudden you hear, it's like, marching. We're like, marching? Why are we hearing marching? This is not something normal. This is not a regular occurrence. You know, even when people get murdered or stabbed, you don't hear this. This is something new. I look out my cell window and I see C.E.R.T team, ISIT team, which is basically like Riot offensive group. It's like the institutional SWAT team. And if there's any disturbances or anything like that, they're coming. And they come, they're all big. They handpick all the biggest officers. They're typically all male. They all wear the same thing. Their face is covered. They've got all this padding and defense. They have batons, OC spray, and they're not f***ing around. At that point, once an ISIT team comes in, or a C.E.R.T team or anything like that, it's usually no mess around at that point. If you violate in any way, you're going to get it. But we weren't doing nothing, so we didn't understand. We didn't get why the C.E.R.T team was building up. Anyways, 2 minutes later, they come on the range. Hot 10, hot! And it was really bad marching. Like, it's horrible marching. You can tell there's not a ton of training behind it. They literally just want to come in and smash, right? But this was different. So it turns out there was apparently a zip gun and bullets in the institution. Now, you'd think, like, what's somebody going to do with a bullet? How dangerous is a bullet? But I guess pen guns and things like that can be made, and they take it as the highest threat. They shut that joint down, and they were not playing. They came into the cell, they cuff you like this, hand behind your back, and when you walk out, your head's down and your arms are up. So the Fed behind you is holding your arms up. So you are you're not capable of resistance or fighting back, while two other ones lead you along while this guy's got your arms jacked up. They take every single one of us, line us up in this hallway, and while there's like 12 of them on patrol, you have to sit there with your legs crossed and your head down in your lap for like 2 hours. Every once in a while, they'll come by and they'll say, you can lean back, you can stretch out, because it's torture. But at the end of the day, they don't care. They don't care that they're torturing us. They're having fun. And the fact of the matter is, anybody who violated, disrespected, or got super choked by it, which I knew better. Like, I know that once the situation is like that, you're not going to win, right? So by making a disturbance, all you're going to do is put yourself and your block in a bad situation. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't crack to them. Do what you got to do. If you're in a standoff or a violent altercation with the feds and the range has agreed to do this, that's a different story. But this was a different situation. There's no agreement of a fight or a beef with the feds. Nobody had an issue at that moment specifically. This was something completely different. So as guys are like, stretching out whatever, guys are saying, like, what's up with this? Like, this is torture. This is uncomfortable. You can't do this. Like, and they have the batons out and they're just tapping guys on their back. Violate it all. I watched certain guys. It was raining that day. And there were certain guys who just don't care, right? You all day, right? Like, they just don't care, and they're gonna voice their opinion. And I'm usually that dude. I'm usually the guy that is obnoxiously telling my position, and always, right? But I knew in this circumstance, it's a lose-lose. So why? They took some guy's yard in the pouring rain and left them out there for hours, laying down on the concrete, face down, with their hands handcuffed behind their back. Now, after a couple hours of this, they returned everybody to their cell. They moved to another block. They moved to the next block, to the next block, to the next block. But this is different because this is happening at hours that it normally would be locked down. They don't care. They're running through the whole joint. It is what it is. Now, I don't know if they ever end up finding any bullets. None of us were told if they found any bullets. I'm sure if you were on the detention side, you would know, because it's a different environment, The subculture is much bigger. There's a lot more shady feds that'll tell that kind of stuff. When you're on the sentence side, it's kind of whack, right? Because most guys that are doing time aren't going to plead to like 2 years or 18 months provincial unless they have to, right? And most of the guys that are doing stretches in provincial, they're not like the hardcore convicts, right? They're either drug addicts, buckets, people that are theft under, possession under, domestic abusers, not like a hardened convict population. So there's not much going on. Plus, In provincial, you don't have visits. You have visits, but not touch visits. And nobody's going in or out of court except for the exception. So the ranges are pretty dry. Also, not a whole lot going on. So when you're in that circumstance, you're not expecting your range to get ripped down this way. But this is a cost of being in jail. At any time, things can happen. Whether you're getting stabbed, you're getting smashed, there's a riot, there's some kind of a situation where you're going to be locked down for weeks, shortage of staff, where they literally lock guys down day after day after day after day after day. No real reason other than shortage of staff, which was created by the government when they did a hiring freeze for corrections. And it's created a whole bunch of situations. And as you know, anybody who watches my channel, if you have family in Lindsay, Penetang, Maplehurst, the South, any of those super jails, there's extended days where it's hard for you to talk to your loved one who's locked up because of all the shortage of staff lockdowns. And these are consequences of going to prison. Now, I, in my years, have again seen the C.E.R.T team a few times, one being the riot when I was in Joyceville in 2012. And I also saw in that circumstance that they're not playing around. They read us the Riot Act, which means they legally have the right to take your life, right? You are in custody, federal custody. So if you went to escape, if you went to try to run, climb over the fence, they could legally shoot you and kill you. So anytime you jeopardize the institution, the safety, and the security, they'll take the right of life away from you by literally reading you some fucking thing off some government paper, and you become nothing. All for being in prison. You might not even be causing the disturbance on the block, but collateral damage is a fact. So when I tell you guys that prison's not worth it and addiction's not worth it, because for most people addiction will lead to prison because you have to feed your habit somehow, and unless you're a millionaire or an amazing drug dealer, chances are you're going to have to fund your habit through crime. Eventually, maybe for a certain amount of time, you'll be able to fund it by working a 9 to 5. But we all know that will catch up to you and you will end up doing time. And it's the biggest waste of life, waste of talent, waste of time that you could ever have in your life. Nothing is worse for you. It doesn't just stunt your growth. It holds you back from society also. So when you get out, not only is your growth stunted socially, but your growth is also stunted technologically. Now, I'm in a position now where I do a YouTube channel and I don't know how to use a computer. I'm still learning how to do all of this stuff because I was stunted. Prison is not worth it. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you guys don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my fingers, nobody goes to prison, nobody deals with addiction or trauma or any of that kind of stuff. That's what I do, but that's not a reality, especially in 2022. It's crazy out here. Let's be honest. It is crazy out here. And why make it crazier by going to prison? If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So you can go to prison, live smooth the whole time if you're doing a short bit, never get involved in anything bad, and literally have zero negative interactions your whole bit. Or you could go in and just be in horror all the time and not even by your own choices. So before you go out and do a crime or you think about anything that can land you in prison, just remember this. we were not designed to be caged up, right? Have you ever gone to a zoo and seen how the animals act at a zoo? They're depressed, they're laid out, they clearly have issues, and they don't reason like we do. They don't think the same way that we do. Our minds are not meant to be trapped in that way, and it will do irreversible damage to you. Sure, you can get out and you can move on and make changes in your life and eventually create a life for yourself. But the things that you see in prison, you're going to see for the rest of your life. That man getting killed, I am going to see for the rest of my life. All the stabbings, all the trauma, all the corrupt police and searches and violations of your rights, you'll never let go of that. So, best case scenario, you're able to move on and kind of forget about that stuff. But anytime life gets hard, it's going to start flashing back to you, because that's what happens when you have trauma. Don't go to prison. It's not worth it. Take it from me. I turned myself around. You can turn yourself around. Love each and every one of you. The new Mac.